All right, we're going to take a little break here. It's raining, but now the sun's out. It's bipolar weather here in La Jolla right now. But while we got a second here, I just wanted to go out there's so many coaches and players here. There's so many stories out here. I just wanted to grab somebody and chat them up. And this is a program. This guy we're going to meet is a program that I've always kind of kept one eye on. I like this. I like where it's located and who they play, and it's a very interesting little program. Coach, introduce yourself if you can hear yourself. Can you hear okay?
Yeah, I can hear okay.
Go. Introduce yourself, my friend.
How you doing? I'm Jason Cohen. I'm the men's tennis coach at Caltech.
Where are you from originally?
Originally, I grew up just outside of Baltimore, Maryland.
Gotcha. And how did Caltech, where is Caltech, first of all?
We're in Pasadena, California.
And it's D3? Is it considered D3?
Correct. We're Division 3.
And what conference are you in?
We're in the SCIAC, so we play CMS, Pomona Pitzer, Chapman, Redlands.
I like
all
that
schools.
conference.
Yes, it's a very competitive conference.
There we go.
Yep.
How did Caltech come into your life? How did that happen?
Yeah, so I think without going too deep, I started my college coaching career in the East Coast. The school I was at before Caltech was Colby College, which was in Maine, and I coached both the men's and the women's teams there. I would say probably maybe 75 or 80% of Division III, you have a coach who does both men's and women's at the same time, and it's very difficult to compete with the other schools that have a singular coach for each gender. And so one of my goals was to look for a school that was a really strong academic school that had the ability to coach one gender at a time. And that's how Caltech kind of came about. About 4 years ago, they split the coaching position. They had a coach who had been there coaching both men and women for the same time for about 15 years. They split. She took over the women's team, and they were hiring a men's coach. And I applied, and I got the job. And I can say it's a lot nicer to play tennis in California than it is Maine, that's for sure.
Is Bates in Maine?
Bates is in Maine. So, yeah, Colby.
Paul Gaston?
Yeah.
He's a good friend of the show. Yeah.
So, yeah, he is a great person to know when I was at Colby. And, Colby, Bates, and Bowdoin are the three schools in Maine that are in the NESCAC. But it's a lot of Paul and I spent a lot of time in a field house together on Saturday afternoons, that's
cool.
for sure.
Very cool. Very good man. He's a good man.
Yes, for sure.
So how do you recruit? I'm always amazed when when I look at a D3 school. How do you recruit? How do you go about getting your players, Coach?
Yeah, it does vary. I'd say in my experiences at Division III, I've coached a number of different types of schools. So Colby was a liberal arts school. Obviously, Caltech is a very STEM-heavy school. So you get a different type of student that's interested in each place. And I would say when I was at Colby, I was definitely more going out, trying to generate interest. Caltech's academic reputation is certainly great for attracting students, and I would probably say 2/3 of the students contact me first, and a third is me trying to generate some of the interest, simply because there are such limitations in terms of academically, like what you actually have a chance to get into the school with. So if I go out and try and generate interest, the odds of me coming across a student who actually has a chance to get in are pretty slim. But the ones who know what Caltech is and know what it offers and want to be a part of Caltech, they'll normally reach out to me first.
That's nice.
It does help.
A little bit of a luxury, isn't it?
It's
kind of nice. Yeah.
It is for sure. There are definitely pros and cons in the recruiting world of Caltech, because there are always going to be students who are interested. There are always going to be strong tennis players who are interested in a school like Caltech. But then the challenge is the flip side of admissions, which is incredibly difficult. And if I had every recruited athlete that wanted to come to Caltech get in, we would be really, really good.
I can't imagine.
It's just a low percentage, and you're always gonna get some, but you're never gonna get all of them that you want. And it's just the way it goes.
How about the facility? What do you have there? What do they practice on? What do you play your matches on?
So on campus we have 8 courts. 6 of them are lighted. They actually got resurfaced this past summer, and we got brand new lights this summer as well, which was pretty nice. Give it up for the athletic department there, huh? Yeah,
thanks, man.
Oh, yeah, for sure. That was that didn't come out of our budget for sure. So that was a nice benefit.
Capital improvements.
Yes, for sure. And that's we have obviously weight room facilities that our athletes are able to use as well. And tennis can be kind of low maintenance, pretty much all you need. So
do you ever play MIT?
We do not. Our women's team has in the past. MIT's men's team does not make a trip out to California like a lot of other schools do. Right. So coming up in March, we will probably play 8 or 9 home matches in a row because a lot of teams come out for their spring breaks. And so we play a really tough schedule. But MIT's team doesn't travel, and we don't travel a ton simply because where else would we go that's better than where we're at? And we don't want to go play indoor tennis if we don't have to. Yeah. And we do have a lot of schools that come to us, and so that makes our life pretty easy.
Especially during the BNP.
Right,
yeah. You know what I mean? I kind of coached in Southern Cal, and boy, the phone would ring off the hook right around because a lot of coaches like to come out, play their matches, right, and then hopefully catch a couple days at BNP.
Yeah, for sure. That helps, and it's right when a lot of school spring breaks are. So like this first week there was a couple, next week there's more, and then the following week there's a lot of schools out here on their break. So
nice.
CMS and Pomona, they also get the benefit of that because we get to play a really competitive schedule while playing the majority of our matches at home. Oh,
it's a tough little conference, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure.
You know, and I just heard Redlands got a new coach, right? Redlands,
yes,
found a new guy, so it's competitive. Tell us, let's talk about your number one singles player. Where's he from? How did you find him? And however did he academically get into your
school? So our number one player currently is Ishan Kanani. He's from Scarsdale, New York. So he's a sophomore. We actually have a pretty young team this year, in both in years and experience, since we basically haven't played in almost 2 years. All of the SCIAC, except for Chapman and Kowloon, didn't play at all last year, and then obviously our 2020 seasons were cut, short. So majority of the guys in our lineup have played very little college tennis coming into this.
Yeah.
So for Ishan, I'm say academically, things I'm trying to think back now.
Did he call you?
Years.
Is he one of the guys that called you?
He may have. I'm trying to think back, but I know I'd seen him play at Kalamazoo when I went out there, and so he was a high level junior player. I know he also reached a high level of math in his high school, which is obviously a benefit for admissions. He got through a number of calculus classes and was doing some linear algebra and other kind of discrete math in high school. So like that helps, obviously, your chances in admissions for sure.
Wow. How about your number two guy? What do you got at 2?
So Kyle McCandless, he plays 2. He's from Massachusetts. And so he's actually a unique player. He is ambidextrous, so he serves right-handed, but then he plays left-handed.
Nice.
And he's part of our number one doubles team, and they actually played the Nakashimas last night.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. So in the first round, they beat a team from SMU.
It's a good win.
And then they, once the draws came out, they were like, oh man, like we got a chance, to play Nakashimas, and they were pretty pumped last night.
How was that? It
was awesome.
I didn't see any of it. So I was telling Fred, I'm walking out. People were coming in to see that match.
Yeah, it was crowded. The stands they have here were certainly packed, and it was. Our guys competed well. I think they were a little nervous to start. They had a couple of volleys in the first game they could have held if they put them away, but they kept that first set competitive. It was 4-2.
Nice.
Despite the game that they could have held.
Yeah.
And I think that once they settled in, they did pretty well for themselves.
That's great. What a great experience for those guys.
Right. Yeah, and that's what this is actually our first year bringing players down to this tournament.
Yeah.
And I know have known and worked with Paul at CMS for a long time, and he kind of helped me, figure out how to get some players down here and how this all works. And yes, it's a fun experience for student athletes, and that's what we're trying to provide as coaches. But having them play the number 75 player of the world has nothing to do with me or anything I can provide. It's just kind of a pure luck. But then also they earned it because they got the win. So that was how many D3 tennis players can never say they get to play someone of that caliber.
Was it on this court?
It was
on court 1?
Right on the center court.
Wow.
Yeah.
What was your impressions of Brandon? What were your thoughts? What you saw yesterday?
Yeah, I've obviously watched him play a ton on TV, and so seen his game a lot. It seemed like he didn't quite have to take it out of second gear, and he still he turns it on a little at the end, but it's just. That level is just it's just another level of solid. It's just like every ball that comes off is off the center of the strings, and it's just like even the misses are just like you miss by an inch, and not like
He's something. It's so great to have him here.
Really I know. Is. Yeah, I hope a lot of the people in the area come out to watch him because it's. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people who pay good money to watch him play at ATP tournaments. He can come out here for not a lot, and it's good. So.
Did he play the deuce or the ad court? What was he playing?
He played the ad court.
Which
I'd say was not a surprise given his backhand.
Yeah,
It's a strong shot. So,
how's your season going? Are you into it already?
Yes.
How's it going?
So
far?
in February we played a handful of scrimmages and matches against some like D2 and NAIA teams that are in the greater LA area, like Azusa Pacific and Biola and some other schools like that. We did 2 weeks ago play our first D3 match. We played UC Santa Cruz, and they came down to play a couple teams in Southern California. We won 8-1, which is a good start to this season, I think, for us. These next couple weeks will really pick up our schedule. Next week we play Swarthmore, which is out of Pennsylvania, and then Sewanee, which is a school from the south, Tennessee, I think.
Yeah.
And they're both perennially top 25 teams, if not higher. Swarthmore's had a really good recruiting class recently, so they're a strong team. So we got a lot of tough matches coming up in March, which will be a lot of fun. See where we're at.
And CMS has been at the top of the hill for a while. Is that what's been going on in that conference?
For the most part, I'd say as long as I've been here for the past 5 years, and probably a little bit before that, CMS has been the dominant team in the conference, but they're also a fairly dominant team in the country. They've been consistently probably top 5 in the rankings for national rankings for as long as I can remember, honestly. So they're a strong team.
I'll tell you what, I wish more people would watch D3 tennis. Really, because it's good stuff, and it's a whole different world. It's a whole different world, man.
Yeah,
those kids must be so driven that I mean they really must be wanting to be the best. I mean, the best students they can be, the best athletes they can be, and the best person they can be.
Yeah, for sure.
It must be amazing to work with young people like that.
It is. I mean, it's awesome. I love tennis, and I love what it can provide them, in terms of just how you can, teach things on the court, and through competition. But, yes, our students at Caltech are extremely motivated, both, in the classroom and, on the tennis court as well. And I think that's, something that's really awesome because – one, I agree. I think more people should watch college tennis, period.
Right.
But especially at D3 and here at this tournament between our team and CMS and Pomona, like we've had a number of wins over Division I teams. Yeah. The quality of tennis at Division III is extremely high, and it's really only continued to get better. As more strong academic schools realize like they can recruit and like get some of these really strong tennis players. And some of the players are understanding, like, if I can go to a Caltech and get a great education and also play really competitive tennis, that's
in California.
Yeah, that's a lot better for me than going to some maybe like random D1 school. And because Caltech certainly provides you a lot of opportunities once you leave upon graduation.
I believe it. Yeah. And I like your conference dates, your conference championships. You go late, don't you? Like are you in May?
We're the first weekend in May. Yeah. So that's like the end of our season will be our conference tournament. Yeah.
And are there different venues, men's and women's this year? Are they at the same venue? Do you know? I don't mean to put you on the spot.
So for our conference, as the top 4 teams make the playoffs, and the home team hosts, or the higher seed hosts, of course, the home team hosts.
So it's just 4 teams that
just
come
4
together?
Teams, and we'll go Friday will be the semifinals, and then I believe Saturday is the finals.
Nice.
Kind of back-to-back those 2 days. And so, whoever is the higher seed will host. And so we'll
go get them, Coach.
Yeah.
Well, really nice talking with you, man. And I have a lot of respect for your program. And what's Occidental like? To change
Occidental is a very good liberal arts school that's near us. Do you
play them?
We do play them. They're in our conference.
Yeah.
They recently hired a new coach, Tim Gray. He's a friend of mine. He was a previous coach at Brown for the men's tennis team there. Amongst others, he was coach at Washington College when they won national championship back in the 90s, I believe. They just, for the first time, maybe like 3 or 4 years ago, made the tennis coaching position full-time. So I think before that it was part-time, and there was a continuous kind of rotating door. But once it became full-time and it allowed someone to put in some effort, the men's team is definitely more talented this year and will be a tough team in the conference for everyone. And I think there's a lot of potential there for their team because they are. It's a very good liberal arts school, just like a lot of the other schools in our conference. And now they've put a little funding into having some consistent presence, in the coaching position. I think that'll help for sure.
What's the nickname for Caltech? What are you guys?
We're the Beavers.
The Beavers.
Or Nature's Engineer.
Why don't we end it on that,
Yep.
Coach? Say your name again for our listeners.
Jason Cohen, men's tennis coach at Caltech.
There you go, Jason. Thanks so much, buddy.
Of course.
Thanks so much. All right, we'll take a little break. Hope you enjoyed that. We'll take a little break.